Go-Kart Survival is the worst game ever. And it gets that title automatically because when I was playing it, it felt like there was a drill in both my ears and they were meeting in the middle. Playing Go-Kart Survival makes you feel like there's a swarm of angry bees trying to kill you. Playing Go-Kart Survival made me shit my pants because they discovered the brown noise. And it caught me extra off guard because when I originally started playing the game, I had it on the wrong output, so I thought the game was totally silent. But that would have been preferable to what you just heard. Like, this game is the exact opposite of ASMR. And if you're still not convinced, here's what the main menu sounds like. This is the absolute worst, and I haven't even gotten to the gameplay. It sucks! There's 9 different levels you can play, and every one of them is more broken than the last one. First off, I don't know why they call this Go-Kart Survival. There is no survival in it. They blatantly just put that in there so more people buy their game. A more accurate title, I guess, for this would be Go-Kart Time Trials or something like that, because the only game mode seems to be trying to go through a track as fast as you can. Even though I never managed to complete a single track while playing it, and even in the trailer for the goddamn game, it seems the developer couldn't do it either. That's because the game's physics and camera are the worst thing you're ever gonna play. The game starts out with a freeform, inverted controlled camera for some reason that barely works and doesn't turn with your car. You can press the C button to lock the camera behind you, but it's so close to your character half the time you can't see anything in front of you. And they put in all these areas where you have to navigate through different pylons and cones and go up jumps and crap, but you can't see any of it. And if your car so much as hits one slight slope or the wall or god forbid one of the obstacles, you're gonna go flying in the air. And when that happens, you spin in every direction imaginable and get totally turned around. Basically, if you make one single mistake, you won't be able to complete the track within the given time. Now, racing games are a genre I'm not super into, and there's very few of them that I really like, but I do like some of them, and I feel like I have a little bit of insight in how to make one not absolutely infuriating. Number 1 is that when you run into stuff or hit the side of the track, you don't go flying and get turned around everywhere. Now, there are certain games that do this. A game like Mario Kart does it, of course, but they have this handy-dandy little thing that shows you where to go once you get turned around, and they indicate if you're going backwards. Because there's nothing more infuriating in any racing game than to get turned around and not know where to go. When you're not racing in a racing game, it's boring as hell. But hey, at least this is one of those games where I can just randomly drive off the track and fly into nothingness. The point is that clear and concise indicators when you're racing are very useful. Even if you don't want to have a giant arrow telling you where to go, there's little tricks that a lot of developers put into their games to make it more obvious. A lot of games will put visual indicators on the side of the track telling you which way is forward and when there's a sharp corner coming up. Other games will do it even more subtly by putting things like a stream going downwards that subconsciously tells you which direction to go in. It's little touches like this that make your game not the worst thing in existence. But I do realize that's asking too much from this developer considering the other games they've released. And yeah, I've covered at least one of their other games before. Remember Labyrinth Escape? Yeah, that was by Valkyala Software? Valkyala? Blah 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 blah, who gives a crap? Yeah, they tend to release a lot of games and they all kind of follow the same format. They load up the Unreal Engine, put a lot of assets into it, then make like 9 or 10 levels, then release it and say that they're going to be updating it constantly. Except at this point, I find it a little bit hard to believe they're going to be updating any of these games considering they have like 25 of the goddamn things. So at a certain point when you have like 25 games released and you say you're going to update all of them, but you don't, I'm kinda gonna call you out on being a lying doorknob. So shut the front door with your bullcrap. I'm well aware this is someone that's probably just fooling around with the Unreal Engine, but if that's the case, put it on itch.io. I don't want to see this crap on Steam. It takes up the store page and takes away from real indie games that get released. You know, stuff with artistic and gameplay intent made by someone who has a passion for making fun video games. Someone sent me a game called Deep Ones yesterday, and it's a super simple platformer about a diver that gets stuck under the ocean. But it's kind of fun in its simplicity. It's not the best game ever, but the developer obviously cared about making it and tried to make it to the best of their ability. Go-Kart Survival is like the first time someone goes to a multimedia program and is asked to use the Unreal Engine. Except instead of this being a test project that the professor tells them sucks, they release it and expect everyone to be okay with it because it's, quote, not done yet.
But you're not fooling me anymore. We all know what your real intent is.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is basically a reskin version of another game they released called Survival Driver, where you have a motorcycle instead. It even has the exact same road and map assets. Also, they use Comic Sans in their logo. We got a Comic Sans alert.
Jesus!